How do you deal with multiple opponents?
I'm not dodging the question, but there could be 20 different scenarios
Yes.
where you have more than one opponent. One that could be just two people, could be three people. They could be spaced out. You could have your back against a wall. You could be sitting down. They may not be close together. The distance is at odds. So you've got to be thinking about, if this, what? If this scenario, what? Okay.
Yes.
So if you have two people, so the ideal scenario for multiple opponents is that they are all fairly close together and within touching distance. That's the ideal situation. And the next part of that ideal situation is that you preempt. You go first. And these three people are set up in a slight curve so that you can start at one end and finish at the other. Okay. And you've done the scenario with us where we start with a slap which flows into that central hit, and that really, not exaggerating it, but those three hits will be within half a second with impact. So, and the principle that, if you remember, I talked about was from pistol competition, and it was either what we call falling plate or skittle shoot. So you've got, say, 5 skittles or 5 metal plates that you're going to hit, and so you're drawing out the holster and it's time. So you have to get everyone, and then the last shot, the timer records that. So you're after that time. And the whole thing is based on cadence, is a cadence of that shooting, managing the recoil, good sight picture, but that sequence is bum, 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 bum. What happens is you go bump, miss. So you go bump, miss, and then what the person does is stay on that one. You're fucked. Technical term for pistol skittle shooting. If you miss it, it doesn't matter. You carry on with the cadence, because if you miss that but try and stay on it, you've lost the cadence, and when you try and get back on the others, you're starting from scratch again. So you go bang, miss, bang, 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 go back to that one and bang. So with this, where you've got multiple opponents and you can go first, which is what we should have been organising. So we preempt, we strike. That first one, it doesn't really matter if it hasn't been a stopper, a knockout shot. It should be enough to have them so distracted and impacted that by the time you've hit the next one or two, you're back on that one again. But if you hit the first one and you don't get the effect you'd really like, you can't stay on it. You've got to you have a cadence in your mind and you have to execute that. Then go back and clean up. So that's the perfect scenario. And it's all based on, everything we do is based on preemption. We're not fighting 3 people. We're preempting 3 people one at a time, or 2 people one at a time. That's just a formal training drill to get you to get that feeling. But that can apply to lots of different situations. When you're fighting, sparring. Nice work. Good impact. If you've got people who are coming towards you, okay, then there's a point at which, and we do the drill here, we were doing it last Sunday, and it's a drill where we have one person coming in front, the other person behind, just off the shoulder coming at you. So you're not going to wait till they're within touching distance, because they're going to be firing off sooner than that. So they're going to fire off when they get to a point that they feel comfortable with. What they're not expecting is to get hit at a point 3 feet before that, or 4 feet before that. So we have a drill where we explode with if you like, a falling reverse punch that takes us a long distance, and then the step from the back foot is not a step, it's a recovery to stop you falling over. But then that feeds in to the second punch, which is over to the side to the second person. So as they're walking in, we do it with the pads or with a focus mix. We fire across, cover that ground, hit, recover with the foot, and these two punches are almost same time. It's bang, as that one's hitting, this one's also then starting with that weight. And when you're doing those types of punches, you're not moving and then punching. The punch almost starts first, so you're more sparing the strike. So it's more concomitant with, say, Baji Chuan, where if they would do an elbow, they're not elbowing, the elbow's fixed here, and then the whole body moves with this as like the prow of the ship in the spear. So that's the same that we do with our long-ranging punching. So we intercept them coming in and get them 3 feet before they plan to start. Okay. And then you've got other scenarios, multiple opponents. We've just done it with a back slap. You know, and I mentioned the two doormen in Leicester, and the video that I've got, try and find it, is a police video. It was police evidence because they took the film from the club, which is looking down the corridor to the door with the reception, with these two knockouts with a back slap. So this had come from DVDs from the police authority. No prosecution, it was deemed reasonable, but perfect. Got hold of one, back slap the other, and that used to work for me. I've got two people here, one here, go for him, he's going, or go for him, he's going. So what you've got to do is get this one out without turning to him, but you've got him, you've got that peripheral vision, you've looked at him, you know, talked to him maybe, but then bang, and then you bang onto this one. But same, you don't go bang and stay with this, it doesn't quite work. There's enough impact for you to carry on and get that and go back to it. Okay. Well, you felt it, so you know how heavy that is. Even if it doesn't hit in the right place, it really doesn't matter. It's anywhere as long as it's neck, chest, side of the face here, that coming down with the gravity. And don't forget, you've disguised that because you're talking with your hands. You're not down here and doing this, your hands are here. So if I wanted to do that slap, I'd talk like this. So I'm giving myself some gravity benefit already as I slap.
And cover.
And then, yeah, and cover. So if I slap to here, this is open line. But if I'm here and this slaps in, bang, still don't really look at that because I knew where it was, and then I'm focusing here and then back to that. Shot, good one, excellent. Nice shot. Perfect, beautiful. That was stiff. Long. Nice. Once more, don't try too hard. Sweet, I just want to do everything. Good so shot. You have to think of scenarios. Principles as always are that action beats reaction. That's it. That's the flashing thing over the door or over our heads. Action beats reaction. At touching distance, whoever starts it wins it. There's no blocking, there's no avoiding it. Whoever starts it will win it. So you have to start it. At the point it's appropriate, where the warning danger signs from that person, whether it's the language, whether it's the body language, whether it's the other tells that you get, going pale, going red, lips coming, whatever it is, target focus, tells you the point at which you're entitled to preempt. And it's justified and within your honestly held belief that you have no option but to preempt. Okay. And then keep things simple. Big hit, big weight, vital areas that will shut the person down without causing damage. That's why I don't punch to the face. It's a slap to the face and strikes to the body or legs or elbows to the body. Never an elbow to the face. I have a friend of mine who spent his life in conflict elbowing people on the jaw. But I think he wasn't working on the door. But if you were on the door or there were people watching, elbow in the face can cause too much damage, and it's not necessary. can elbow anywhere and put people down.
Legally, mind-wise.
Yeah, no, it could be justified, but it's better to justify the use of impact when people haven't got a broken jaw or a caved-in eye socket or half the teeth missing. When I was acting as an expert witness, I told you the story. I was an expert witness in the case of a doorman who had hit a student. That's justification enough in the first place for me, but never mind. It's a different story. But so we had the pictures of the guy he'd hit, and the first picture, I told you, the mouth was closed, and there was a small little cut here. But when he opened his lips, his top 3 teeth were missing. So he'd not hit him that hard because his lip wasn't bulging. This was taken quite soon afterwards. Small cut, but that impact was sufficient to knock the teeth out. That was the damage. So you just can't, I mean, the guy could have had rotten teeth. So you could have gone like that and they fell out. So that was what he was being prosecuted for, because it looked an excessive use of force. But where you allied that with this small cut, it clearly hadn't been that hard, but it had ended up doing a lot of damage. And he was found guilty for it. Couldn't help it. The evidence sort of spoke for itself, really. However justified it had been, the damage was not commensurate with what the threat was. But slaps to the face, they can go unconscious, wake up, they've just got a red mark. That's it. We're not hitting the eardrum, we're hitting the side of the face or part of the neck, okay? Or it's a brachial hit, stuns them momentarily, will knock them out, allow you to move them somewhere. So impact, preemption, be first, hit hard, pick target areas that give control of that person, so it shuts them down. Shot to the solar plexus, that shot to the ribs that we had before, coming under the floating ribs, okay? Slaps, all effective, all work, yeah. Proven to work. Yeah.